wise. I live his my life. I stay strong. I stay wise. I live his my life. I stay strong. I stay wise. I live his my life. While we wait.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I am R. Patrice Bryant, and I am the host of While We Wait, and I am so excited about today. I am so glad that you're here. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties with getting one of our speakers on, but we're gonna continue on. I want to talk to you a little bit about While We Wait relaunching. We will be relaunching November 5th due to the response of our audience. Initially, our While We Wait was for unmarried women, but due to the response of my audience, we are going to open it up to everyone because everyone is waiting on something. Where some people are waiting on employment, many of us we're waiting for COVID to be over, and we're waiting on a lot of things. So While We Wait is going to be relaunched November 5th. And after November 5th, I will come on every Thursday at 4:30 for some words of wisdom, some strength, some wisdom, and some empowerment. Because my motto is stay strong, stay wise, keep enhancing your life. So November 5th, we will be going live and relaunching and opening up While We Wait for everyone and to everyone. Last week, we talked about personal branding, and last week was more informational, it was informative. So we gave definitions and really just worked around what personal branding is. Some common language was it's your promise to your customers, your associates. It's how you are identified. It's what distinguishes you. It's the ways you establish yourself in the eyes of others. And it's how people see you, how you perceive yourself. One of the things said was we all have a reputation, and reputations can be repaired, and that's a mighty good thing. Another thing that we established is that your skill is not your brand. So today hopefully I have two wonderful people coming on as guests to have this discussion, this little informal chat about personal branding, what it is, what it is not, how you can repair it, how you hurt yourself. And we are still waiting for one of our guests. So for the one that is here, we will go ahead with her. So my first guest is Monika Michelle. And I'm so glad that she's here with me. She is the owner. Hi. She is the owner of Making Memories Events and Designs. She says it's the details that give the wealth and the beauty. It's planning with elegance, dedicated to providing the highest level of professionalism. Our unparalleled service is showcased in orchestrating unique, one-of-a-kind events. So, hi, Monika.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am well. Thank you.
I'm glad you're with me. So tell us a little bit about your business, and I want you to tell us about it because now that with COVID, one of the things we discuss is that love is not canceled. That's not the only type of events that you do, but there are a lot of people still getting married and there's still weddings going on. So how is that working for you during this time?
We've had to pivot. So you're right. Love is not canceled. People are still getting married. It just looks a little different. We've had to get creative. Which is, what we do, but we've had much smaller, intimate weddings using technology, which is a wonderful thing when we can't have 200 people in one space. Zoom and other platforms have made it possible to have many more of your friends and loved ones still celebrate your day with you. Of course, we're doing social distancing and following all the guidelines, but we're still able to do weddings. We're just doing them a different way. And so one of the things that in this season, everybody's having to do it, business and personal, is pivot. So one of the things that we've started doing is smaller events based on the CDC guidelines, as well as virtual planning,
Yes.
and more intimate weddings. So that has helped a lot. Some people decided, we're going to wait, we're going to postpone and do weddings in 2021. For others, we did much smaller events and still did them in 2020. So we're making it work, but we definitely had to sit still, strategize, and pivot.
Sure.
And you can do that in life overall. That's what we do all the time. When one thing doesn't work, you figure out another way and you keep going because life doesn't stop.
Absolutely. So with what you just said, how does that work for destination type events that, how do you handle that?
Right now we're not traveling as a company.
Okay.
What we do is we work with our clients to do virtual planning.
Okay.
So that's a service that we introduced and started offering so that we could still help couples plan their events. So we may not physically be there, but we're working with them. We're, still making the vendor calls and communications with the vendors and providing them with excellent service. It just looks a little different.
Okay.
So it's working.
And you definitely do more than just weddings.
Yes, we do baby showers, bridal showers, birthday parties, anniversary parties, end of life celebrations and acknowledgments, corporate events. So if you are celebrating an event in life, we can plan it for you.
Great. That's good.
Doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very good. So this is going to be a little different, but matter of fact, just hold on. Let me see if we can just even get the audio of our next guest. So just bear with me. Oh, here we are. Hello, you made it. Yes. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yes.
So allow me to introduce my next guest, and she was my sponsor on last week. And this is just going to be a great discussion. So this is Phadette McRae, and she's the owner of Compose. And Compose, the mission and the motto, you have a story the world needs to hear. We believe that everyone has a unique story that the world needs to hear, and that story should be told right. We aspire to develop the brand identity that truly reflects your purpose. And Ms. McRae is a branding architect extraordinaire with so many other things that she does. And that branding architect is what she does, but there's just so many details that go along with that. I personally use her business, and like I stated on last week, is she has the ability to ask you questions, and it connects so much with your purpose. So she helps you understand your why. It's an experience. That's all I have to say. It is an experience, but it's a good experience, and it's so much more than just the service. It's what you walk away with besides what you asked for. That is amazing. So, Ms. McRae, welcome.
Thank you.
So glad you made it. So let's jump into it. I've asked these two guests to come on because they understand the importance of brand, and they understand the importance of branding, marketing, all of these types of things. So let's jump into the thick of things. So let's get an understanding. So Ms. McRae, if you can explain, because there is a difference between branding, brand, and marketing. Please assist us with understanding what those things are.
Thank you. A lot of times those terms are used interchangeably.
Yes.
So there is a difference between brand, there's a difference between branding, a difference between advertising and marketing. But as our focus is on brand and branding, think of brand is the goal. So brand is an image. Brand is your logo, or your brand is your reputation.
Yes.
Brand is the image that your consumer or people have about you. John Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon, he said it perfectly. He said, brand is what people say about you when you leave the room.
Nice.
So brand is their experience and brand is your reputation. Branding is an ongoing process. Branding is the activities that you perform to either to shape the brand or
Mhm.
to get a hold of the brand. So branding is you're constantly creating, inventing, and reinventing. And that does include your logo and your colors, but more importantly, that also includes the experience that you're shaping for your consumer or the people around you. So brand is the goal or brand is the image that people have of you. So think of it as your reputation, and
Mhm.
branding is what you do to earn or shape that reputation.
Okay, thank you. So with that said, and this is for either of you, so then branding or becoming a brand is not something that you can just turn on, turn off.
No, ma'am.
Okay, talk to us about that.
Well, so brand, like I said, brand is a goal, but you want to think of branding is a 24/7 activity.
Okay.
So meaning that we all have a reputation, all of us,
Yes.
everyone watching, all of us who are presenting right now, we all have a reputation. We've been branded. And whether we
You've
believe it
been
or not,
branded.
we've been branded. And whether we have decided to take control of that or whether we are actively shaping that brand, we all have been branded. We all have a reputation.
Yes.
And our name, just like a company, our name is the identity. So when someone says my name or Monica's name or Brian's name, there is something that comes to mind.
Okay.
Um, when someone says somebody else's name, for instance, we all have that person in our family when you say their name, oh, they're gossipy. Oh,
Mm.
they're mean.
Yeah.
Oh, they're nice. Oh, that's Aunt so and so. She fries good chicken. That's her brand. That's her reputation. So whether we know it or not, we are developing a reputation. The branding part of it is the backside of the story. What have you done to shape that brand? And
Nice.
that's just not what you wear or how you speak. That's a part of it, but it's what you do behind the closed doors consistently that shapes the brand or shapes the reputation that you've developed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
Monika, let's talk about how are people hurting their brand?
One of the things that I would say is when you show up, regardless where it is, whether it's the grocery store, whether it's an event that you're doing or participating in, you need to represent your brand and represent it well.
Yes.
You are a reflection of your brand, that personal brand. If you have a business, you're a representation of that business brand. I'm not saying you have to have, your logo all over you, but you need to be polished. You need to be personable, and you need to be ready to speak about your brand when you first encounter someone, because you never know that person that you are standing behind the line in line with at Walmart, 6 foot apart now because of COVID, but nevertheless, that could
Or more, hopefully.
right. That could be your next client. So,
True.
you don't want to miss an opportunity that could literally be standing right in front of you. You want to be ready to speak about your brand, to tell them, if they ask a question or you're engaging in conversation, you want to be able to talk about it. If you can't, sometimes that can hurt you,
Absolutely.
because we all spend money where we're comfortable. We all go to stores where we like the way they interact with us as consumers. We go to restaurants and businesses that we like the way we're treated. Customer service is paramount. So again,
Absolutely.
if you go somewhere and the customer service isn't good, the likelihood of you going back to that place is
Pretty
very.
slim.
But if the customer service is phenomenal, you may write a review. You may go online and give a review. You may ask for the manager to tell them what wonderful service you received. So you have to be ready at all times to be your brand, whatever
Absolutely.
that looks like for you.
Sure.
If you're a hairstylist,
Major.
it's kind of hard to talk about, oh, I'm a hairstylist on such and such location, but you don't look put together.
That now this is an extreme, but that's just like a dentist with their grill is jacked up.
See,
So,
there you go. You know,
or as some of us have heard the story of a yoga instructor who was out of shape. So that's kind of, yeah.
right. You got to be able to, walk it and talk it.
Absolutely.
And make it come alive from you. If you're passionate about it, then somebody else is gonna, it's gonna connect with them. It has to start within you. You've got to have that passion and excitement about your own brand. You're selling yourself, but not selling yourself. You're making people aware of, and you build your own excitement about the brand that you are.
Yeah.
So, and either of you, talk to me about your personal brand and your business brand. And I'm certain that doing one of them in the incorrect way can hurt the other one. But how important is it that the brands that you are connected to,
Mm-hmm.
You're in sync, or you're viewed in the right light? But
Right.
somebody talk to me about that.
So think about birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So if I am an event planner, I'm very passionate about what I do. Details matter. So
Absolutely.
I'm very detail oriented. So when I do things, even if it's something simple, I'm making sure that the details showcase that. Even if it's in my personal home, I want people when they come into my home to feel welcomed and to feel the love and the joy and celebratory when they come into my home. That has nothing to do with MME. That's my home.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in my home, you can tell that there's something in my walk,
Yes.
my talk, that, okay, what is it that you do again? And I hope that someone's going to ask.
Right.
Maybe it's something that they see in my home or in my interaction or how I carry myself that makes them say, you know what, I want to give that girl a call.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a baby shower for somebody that's coming up in the family. Remember when we went by that lady's house and everything was just so, I like that.
Yes.
Your presentation on social media, that's a whole nother avenue, but it should all be a reflection of what you say that you can do.
This is an awesome segue. So I'm going to go to Phadette on this one. Phadette, what is the importance of what we display on these social media platforms? Because I don't believe someone would intentionally sabotage themselves. So tell us a little bit of what's your take on what we are seeing.
Yeah, I'm seeing a trend in regards to business owners, entrepreneurs, or individuals who are voicing quite a bit of things and on various subjects. Well, and we are well within our rights to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But with the liberty of saying what you can, there comes a great responsibility. And I believe that they're doing that because in their minds, or in our minds, there is a separation. I have my business here, and this is my personal site here. This is my professional website or my professional social media presence, and this is my personal. There is no separation of the two.
Yes.
There is no separation of the two. You are your business. If you started that business because of a passion or something innate in you, that you are either answering a question or providing a service or answering a question within you. So you can't separate the two, and neither will your consumers. So if you are, I always go to a fictional character. Her name is Jane, and she fries chicken. And and Jane says that she has the warmest, friendliest, best tasting chicken in the world. And when you bite into her chicken, you will feel home. And so her brand voice, and there's such thing as a brand voice, her brand voice is inviting and family oriented and unity. That's the type of image and feeling that she wants people to have when when you consume her products. But when you meet her personally, she is standoffish,
Yeah.
rude, unpleasant. When you visit her website, beautiful colors, the fried chicken looks lovely, she's dressed nice in her apron and she's smiling. And when you go to her personal page, it's a different story. There's a contradiction, there's an inconsistent. So either the organization is lying or she's lying.
Wow.
Somewhere down the line, someone is lying. So either you're not friendly in regards to your chicken, or you're just a mean person. It
Hmm.
all has to come together. And what we're finding in regards to marketing, in regards to branding, the consumer is now a smart consumer, and they no longer want just logos. They no longer want just catchy phrases and
Mhm.
maxims and things of that nature. They want authenticity.
Mhm.
And in the age of Google research and all of this nature, people can search you out to find out if you really are what you say you are. You can't separate yourself from your business. You are your business.
You are. You
And
definitely are.
people buy from people that they trust. So if Jane is not building that like, know, and trust, eventually it's going to be hard for her to sell that item or the next item that she introduces, because again, like, know, and trust.
And that's an interesting point. Um, business owners may be under the misconception that people buy a product. Yes, they do, but people really buy into a story.
Yep.
Wow.
You can have 20 people that fry chicken, but if your experience and if you have a niche of wonderful customer service, like here's a wonderful story. I couple of stories. So my mobile carrier is Sprint. Most of the people that I've talked to have had terrible experiences with Sprint. And yes, they can drop some calls, and that Sprint. I tell you, they drop a call in a minute. However, I've stayed with Sprint because my experience with them and their customer service is second to none. My experience with them has been consistent. They have been friendly, even if I have been a little late in the past. Oh, Miss McRae, you've been such a wonderful consumer. You know what? We apologize that they apologize when they don't have to.
Yeah.
So even though that, they drop a few calls and they've had some hiccups along the way, I've looked past that because of my experience with them. So I
Mhm.
said all that to say that the consumer really is looking for an entire experience. The consumer goes through a journey with you, and not just your organization or your product, but with you. So even if you're not an entrepreneur, people who encounter you have an experience and go on a journey with you, from you walking up to them looking you up and down, look at what you're wearing, your
Mhm.
tone, how you look, how you say it. So that goes into personal branding. We are
Wait.
always presenting ourselves.
The tone, the tone.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the
Yeah.
tone, because you can hear the tone even in Facebook posts, Instagram posts, text, comments. You
Yep.
can hear, even though there's no audible sound, we hear the tone
Yep.
of what. So, talk to us. And to my viewers, please, if you have a question or a comment, or there's something you want us to bring out, I'm looking at comments. So please feel free to put comments in, and we certainly we can chat about it. But let's talk about, why are we discussing other people and other businesses, and even when we're posting, why do we have a certain tone?
You should always have a tone of positivity. There should never be a situation where, in today's time, in Monika's opinion, let me make sure I say this, in Monika's opinion, in Monika's world, that you feel that it's okay to say anything negative about another business owner. Why? You wouldn't want it done to you, so why would you feel it's okay, subliminally or otherwise, to do to another business owner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all
No.
all the way around no.
No, just kindness and positivity and encouragement, because you don't know who's going to read a post or who's going to see a video, and they may be having an awful day, or they're considering starting a business or ending a business because things aren't going well. But the way you speak, the way you present yourself, you may be that individual that helps that person to keep going. Think,
True.
we're in the middle of COVID. I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody has at least one story of one business owner that's had to shut their doors or decided to close their doors.
Sure.
It may not have to be that way, but
Yeah.
there may be somebody in the way that they're presenting about their business or the way that they pivot during this time that's encouraging somebody else.
True.
You
True.
don't have to tear other people down in order to lift yourself and your business up. It's enough out here for everybody.
There absolutely is a piece of pie for everybody.
Because
That would tie into you may be able to do the same thing, but not the same way.
right, because
And everybody has
me, Phadette herself, we could be all doing the same thing, but there's going to be a different way each of us does it, because that's our personality, and that there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's one of the phrases in the event industry that's called, and I'm sure it's heard in other places, but community over competition. If I can help somebody, let
that's
me.
good. That's good.
You know, it may not
Community over competition.
come to me right then, but that's just, the golden rule, doing to others as you would have them do unto you. Like, give what you would like to be given back to you. Again, a part of your brand, because if people see you as friendly and approachable, they may not use you today. They may not use you 6 weeks from now, but they may have a daughter or a son that's potentially getting married. And it's like, oh, let me call that lady up. I like the way she was talking when I heard her on, While We Wait.
Sure.
I want to hear her tell me what she can do.
And in regards to brand tone, that ties in with your brand voice. So as an individual, how to determine your brand tone and your brand voice is you want to determine what your purpose is. For instance, an educator's tone may not be the same as one who is a chef or one who is an artist. So an educator, their tone is going to be more of to teach, to inform. And so their tone is going to come from a place of confidence. Their tone will be different. If someone who is an artistic person or creative person or a painter, their tone is going to have a different tone of, it depends, whimsy. Some people have if you have an organization, or if you yourself are a person of, I want to come across as educated, or I'm a open person, I'm a fun person. All of that is going to tie into your tone. Again, that's back to your purpose, your personal purpose, or your personal vision and mission statement. All of that serves as a roadmap to your personal branding, and your branding sets the tone. So if you know your purpose, or how you'd like to come off, or how you'd like to present yourself, and how you'd like to shape your reputation, that sets your tone. So once you determine what your purpose and reputation is, then you know what? Then I should speak this way, because if I'm an educator, this is the tone I should have. If I'm a singer, this is the tone I should have. If I am a scientist, this is the tone I should have.
And so to my viewers that are popping on now, this is a chat, an informal chat with two amazing professionals, and we're just speaking on personal branding, how you can hurt yourself, how you can help yourself, and all of the things that are in between. So how do you sell yourself without opening your mouth? Like what can people do? Because I know right off the bat would be like body language, but let's just deal with that part.
Be approachable. Have a pleasant look about yourself whenever you're out and about. Even if you're working, or even if you're shopping, let me say that. At least look pleasant. I do mean it exactly how I said it. Look pleasant.
Yeah.
For me, my vehicle, let me just use myself. My vehicle has a sticker that literally says "Making Memories, Events, and Design" on the back.
Mhm.
I've been stopped and people ask, so what does that mean? What is that? Well, let me tell and you have a 30-second elevator speech. Boom, boom, boom.
Conversation, yeah. Conversation
Tell them
starter.
about it. Have your card ready to be able to give to them. They could really just be curious. But I'm going to give you a card, and hopefully, maybe it may spark a conversation later. Now, in doing the card, again, some people say business cards are outdated, but I disagree. My card all by itself is a conversation piece. My business card, and this is not to tout me, this is something that literally I saw it, someone had it. I was like, oh, I really like that. It's as thick as an ATM or a credit card.
Mm.
So when you put it in someone's hand, probably the first thing that I've heard, ooh, that's different.
That is different. I've never even seen that before.
Yeah, it literally is the size of a ATM or credit card. It's just thick, hard plastic. But when most women, we go through our purses and we're cleaning stuff out. When you touch that card again, no, I'm gonna keep this, but I like it.
Mm.
They may not be in the market to use my services, but they looked at that card at least twice already.
I'm sure. And I've received cards that I will never throw away. And I may not call the person, but it's like, I don't know. It's just, it's an emotional thing. It's a stimulating.
Really pretty or really vibrant, or something about it that I like,
Sure.
So that one goes in a separate place. So just be approachable, be friendly, smile. One of the things that I say is have a cup of coffee and share a smile. That's on my personal, the face behind MME. I love coffee. I love smiling. I find myself smiling a whole lot, probably sometimes when I shouldn't be smiling. But I smile a lot. Even when I'm nervous, I smile.
Yeah.
But it makes people smile back at me,
Mm-hmm.
maybe say hello, and maybe start a conversation. Doesn't always have to be business oriented, but it's that exchange.
Sure.
Just my thought.
Anything to add to that, Phadette?
In regards to presenting oneself without selling, that first goes to practicing at home.
Oh, yeah.
It's helpful to determine what type of person you want to be. And that means internally. Do you want to be a gracious person, a kind person, a generous person? Once you determine what kind of person you want to be, and if you start a vision wall or a vision book or a vision board, and if you keep that before you and you practice that at home, practice it with yourself, your own internal language, you practice it with your friends, you practice it with your family. The more you practice that at home and behind the closed doors, the more that you'll find that that's who you're becoming to the public, and you will be able to present yourself, and you're not selling yourself. You're not selling a persona. You're not selling an image. You are presenting who you've determined to be. And so you want to become a person. You want to become and not sell. And if you become something, becoming something is a permanent and ongoing journey. Selling yourself is probably a short-based focus. So again, if you determine, it goes back to determining a mission statement or a vision statement for yourself, you determine what you want to be, what kind of person you want to be. Again, those are internal characteristics: kind, generous, embracing, loving, approachable. Find adjectives, upright adjectives that you'd like to be. Keep them before you. Practice them at home, first with yourself and your internal language, and you will start to become that person, and it will present in public. And then you'll start to notice that your wardrobe, your hair, your makeup will start to gravitate to what you've been practicing. It'll all start to come together. Be patient with yourself, because it's not done overnight. But if you keep those words and characteristics before you, you will start to gravitate in your mind, and you'll start to attract those things. You'll start dressing like a kind person. You'll start dressing like an embracing person. You'll start talking to yourself kinder. So these are the things that you have to determine. First, who you want to be as a person, and it will start to present itself outwardly.
Branding is work. Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
A few of the viewers, I see that Clinton G said tonality, and that's something we touched on. Your tone is, even how you say hello or hi. It can be said abrasive, like you
Yes.
don't want to speak, or it can be so very warm and inviting. Or, some people have a way of saying hi that it's like, oh, that just made my whole day,
Did anyone, if anyone saw, we as a culture, especially as women of brown skin, we have a gifting for being nice, nasty. I'm so glad that you brought that up, Clint. That's a wonderful. So if you saw the vice presidential debate, I'm not sure if it's pronounced Camilla or Camilla, but what she did is she wanted to tell the Vice President Pence that she was speaking. And so instead of saying, pardon me, I'm speaking, I'm talking, or may I interrupt, or however, she looked at him and said, I'm talking. And as we know, that's that, I'm talking, and did that stare. We call it maybe the black girl stare. But that tone, and those of us who are familiar with that tone and that look, that is a prime example of tone, meaning that, sir, I think you should be quiet right now.
Yeah, it certainly could be misconstrued. We don't know what her true intent was, other than, it could have been a power move because she is a woman, but I do understand how it can come off.
Exactly.
Don't know if that's what her intent was.
Probably not.
But
I'm sure it wasn't, but that's the importance of tone, and that's the importance of positioning, because, and these are things you have to practice. If you don't practice it behind the closed doors, something in a moment can catch you off and you're like, oh, I didn't want them to see that. But if you practice it all the time, it's not second nature, it is your nature.
If you're your authentic self.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. Their tonality it's something so needed, because someone can be noted for just it's in one ear and out the other. But then you have that person who can lean in and speak very quietly. And you know what? You will think about that for the whole night, the whole day. You'll be like, wait a minute. So it is key.
And you have to practice that as well.
You do.
Everything is practice. I record myself. I record myself when I'm speaking. I listen. I practice speed, tonality, language.
It's important.
Yes.
It is very important. What do you look like? And when you're speaking, what do you look like? Yeah. Ms. Hobson says, if you are truly passionate and intentional about that, what you do, it will clearly speak for you.
Wonderful statement.
Mr. G said, intent versus reality and perception of client is major. It absolutely is.
Wonderful statement. Would you repeat that?
Certainly. Intent versus reality and perception of client is major.
And that's brand. Wonderful, wonderful, Clint. We can have an intent and we can think that we're doing something, but how it translates and the image of the client, totally different. That's why branding is an ongoing activity. I'm sure that, there are people that have an image of us that we're not aware of, or, oh, that's not my intent. I did not know I was coming across that way. Wonderful statement, Clint.
Let's talk about the population that people are attempting to reach. We touched on it briefly earlier. You really should represent, look like
your target audience.
Yeah. So expound on that a little bit. Hold on. Before that, hold on. I have another comment from Mr. Wilkerson. It says, I would respectfully suggest that one base the target content of their brand on the positives of who they are, as well as, all caps, who they want to be. Otherwise, they risk creating that dichotomy mentioned. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can get to the other part. Mentioned earlier in your session, reality conflicts with image you want to project. That kind of segues us into the population you are attempting to reach. So thank you for that comment.
So that is a part of marketing, and that brings me back to the definition. Some people may understand marketing as advertising, which it's not. Advertising is getting the word out. Marketing is what you do to position yourself to get in the marketplace. So that brings me to the population. So there's four P's in marketing, and one of that is population. Who you target will drive your tone. It will drive certain aspects of of your brand. So if you are targeting high end, then there's a certain tone, there's certain languages, there's certain positionings that those of affluence will gravitate to. And then if you have a product that is more geared to bargain hunters or a certain other type of population or youngsters or a certain age group, then that age group and that target is more drawn to certain positionings and colors and languages. So all of that matters. So if you decide that you want to target an affluent population and you got your hands on your hips and you going like this, and girl, let me tell you something. Well, they may not appreciate that or identify with that. So you definitely have to research your population and make sure that your services, your product, or yourself, or who you want to be, matches your target audience, or vice versa. Yes,
your target audience.
Exactly.
Yep.
I have another comment, Ms. Wiggins. Whatever your passion, do with all your might. It's not difficult if you love it. You must consist professional and you must consist professional and intentional.
Yep.
And there's that word again, intent.
Yep.
Intent.
It's not work if it's your passion. You don't even think about it when you're working or you're involved in something that's going on for 10 or 12 hours.
Sure.
You may be tired at the end, but when you're in it, you're so engrossed in it, you don't even think about, wait, I'm tired.
I didn't eat. Yeah.
My feet hurt, but you're not thinking about that because you're doing what you love.
Yes.
And that's when you know that you're doing it, because it's like, wait, how many hours have we been at it?
Right.
You forget. Time is irrelevant at that point because you're just in go mode. You're just doing.
So here's another major point. Back to advertising, getting the word out. I know we do a lot on social media, the social platforms, but that number one is still holding to word of mouth. So somebody talk to me.
So statistically speaking, that even though that we spend a lot of time online and a lot of time watching TV, statistically speaking, and research has shown that 80% of consumers do not believe what they see on TV, and they don't believe what's posted on Facebook or social media.
Hear this.
How it's just entertainment. However,
it is.
However, 70% of consumers believe word of mouth. They will believe it. If my best friend tells me I should try this person out, I'm going to believe them more than I will the commercial.
Sure.
So again, that's buying into people buy the story. So yes, social media, and I'm not saying so don't post or don't do that. I'm saying have something to back it up. Customer testimonials, that goes back to the experience. It all ties back to your branding. If someone comes to me and they have a wonderful experience and they go tell someone else, they're more likely to, the person who they told is more likely to come to me faster than someone who just saw me on Facebook, doesn't know me. So that's why it's so important, along with or to support what you're doing on your social media or other digital devices. It's so important to still make sure that the consumer's personal experience or everyone else's personal experience with you is a pleasant one, and that you're consistently branding that. So people tell each other. As a matter of fact, people are going to talk about you whether you brand yourself or not.
Yeah,
Might as well
that's
make
the
it a
connection.
positive one. Yes.
Mhm.
What did you say, Monika?
That's that connection, and not only with your client, but if you're dealing with other vendors or other
Yeah.
creatives or other people, those relationships too, because that interaction that I may have with Phadette, we may be working on a project together. She may not be my client, I may not be hers, but the impression and the connection that we have is going to speak, because again, she may tell someone else about me or vice versa. I
Yes.
That's
met
right.
this really wonderful woman, and she was very knowledgeable. Da 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 da. You should look her up if you're interested in A, B, or C.
Yes.
Again, word of mouth.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And the experience. Exactly.
Yeah, she was
My
very
experience
younger.
with her
So
was, yes, yes. And if someone, as a matter of fact, I just was speaking with a potential client, and I'd made a comment, and they said, no, no, I trust you because you sound like you have integrity, or or if as a matter of fact, it was a client that Ms. Bryant referred me to. Well, no, I trust you because I trust Bryant. So that's how that goes, you know.
Holla.
So even before the service, remember that you're creating experience, and if people experience, if their experience with you is pleasant and wonderful, then by golly, you've hooked them. It's got to be the experience.
Absolutely. So we're going to wrap this up. I'm so grateful to have you ladies on, and there's so many different ways we can go because I'm even hearing you speak about networking, and there's other avenues that we could easily segue into. So perhaps I'll have these wonderful professionals come back again. I love their energy. I love they're very knowledgeable. Just great brains. These are two of the most smartest women I know, and I tell them that all the time. But I'm very, very grateful that they came on. And so this is are whether you have a business or not, and I more lean to the personal branding, but whether you have a business or not, your personal brand, the vibration that you're putting out is so very important. So I wanted to give this information to you, and I'm going to thank my guest again, and I'm going to wrap this up.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
that.
thank you.
And thank you, Monika, for your time and for your knowledge, your wisdom, and your understanding in this area. And I hope that you'll come back again and talk with me.
I will.
Certainly.
I would love
Thank
it.
you
This has
for
been
having me.
great. You're my
I learned so much. Like,
This is good. And we're learning that this is a time of great collaboration.
mhm.
Um, you don't have to go it by yourself. You're going to work hard, but if you have minds that think alike, you may do something different. But if you can pull from everyone's strength, and it certainly will make whatever you're doing a lot easier. And just like Monika said, she learned a lot, so you can learn and better equip yourself for your clients or whatever it is you do. So I'm going to say good evening to you, ladies, and I will finish with my viewers. Thank you so much again, guys.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to give a plug again for my two guests, Monika Michelle. She is the owner of Making Memories Events and Designs. She does wedding and events, all life celebrations. She is located in coastal Carolina, a very beautiful area. However, she is able to service you wherever you are. She does destination celebrations. I know she has clients as far right now up to this area in Westchester County. So she is available if you are interested. And I forgot to have her give her contact information, but you can go on her website, which is www. I wrote it down. .eventsbymme.com. www.eventsbymme.com. And that's Making Memories Events and Designs. Her name is Monika Michelle. And then we had Phadette McRae, who's the owner of Composed, and she is a branding architect and so much more. She loves graphics, but she's not tied just into graphics. She's able to do a whole lot of things if you are working to display your business or your events. She is able to assist you with those social media platforms. And she can be reached at Composed with a D, composedcommunications@gmail.com. Composedcommunications@gmail.com. The number she can be reached at is 203-449-7032. So I'm very happy that they came on to chat with me on While We Wait. I'm so glad that you showed up today. I'm so grateful to my repeat viewers. And if you want on earlier, I just want to share that there will be the relaunching of While We Wait on November 5th. I am opening up While We Wait to all viewers. I mean, anybody could watch it anyway, but it was initially designed for unmarried ladies 19 and up. However, due to the response of my viewers, I have males that come on, married people. So, and I'm more dealing with what can better our lives, give us empowerment. So I'm opening it up, and starting November 5th, I will be coming on every Thursday at 4:30. And I hope you'll join me right here on Facebook Live. I will also begin to do YouTube Live shortly at the same time that I'm doing on Facebook Live. So guys, we have come to the end for today, and thank you so much again. I'm so grateful for all of my supporters. If you're interested in being a sponsor, certainly inbox me and ask me how you can be, and I will be most grateful. What I'm doing is I'm actually turning my living room into a home set, and I am purchasing equipment. So the sponsors are assisting me with those things. If you're interested, let me know. Thank you so much for showing up. Have a great rest of your day.
Stay wise. I live Hewett. I stay strong. I stay wise. I live